We interviewed Alex Galbraith, a Sycamore High School graduate who now plays professional soccer.
What is your favorite part about being a professional soccer player?
I'd have to say my favorite part of that isn't the soccer, isn't getting paid. It's just playing with the people I get to play with. Like, the amount of people you meet through playing is a ton, and they're all great people, and you make so many great memories, really.
What do you like about playing soccer in Australia?
There's a lot of things I like. That's a really hard question. Obviously, I love the weather. Most of the time, it's beautiful down there. I mean, the place we play at, if I had a picture, I'd show you, but maybe I can flash one up or something. But you got this mountain, like, scape in a way, not quite a mountain, but just right up on the background of our home field. It's amazing. I mean, the places you get to go, the people, the foods, it's exceptional.
How did you know you wanted to be a soccer player?
So that's another difficult question. I'd have to say, just growing up, I've always known that I wanted to do something in soccer, whether that be coaching, playing, and just so happened that I've had this great experience to play. I'd definitely say my dad has had a big influence in that. His passion for the game has kind of rubbed off on me in a way. And so it's just been it's a really great experience. I mean, I've always known that I want to do something in soccer, like I said. It's just, I'm blessed to do it professionally.
What is your favorite memory of Sycamore?
I would actually say, so I only went to Sycamore High School my senior year, and I would say it was the very first time that I got to play with the guys on the team. They welcomed me from the start, and that was something that I knew it was going to be a positive experience. I knew it was going to be a great time just based on that first interaction with them. They really welcomed me in and welcomed me to the Sycamore family.
What is your favorite Sycamore soccer memory or experience?
I would have to say tying St. X out on the field out here at the junior high back when they had the old turf. My grandpa went to St. X, so to score against them was kind of good in a way. And to tie them 1-1, and they were like one of the top ranked teams in the city at the time, and I think we were like fourth. I think they might have been second. It was a real great game, real battle, and it was a great experience.
What position did you play in high school?
In high school, I played, I'm going to go technical on here, I played the number 8, which is center mid, bit box to box. I also played the 10, which is more of the attacking midfielder, sometimes out wide as well. It really depended. I mean, most of the time central midfielder.
Do you still play the same position now?
I do, and I don't, if that makes sense. So it really depends. Myself as a player, and my coach down in Australia, they love to play me as center mid, but at times, if we play a certain formation, I'll play out wide. In a pinch, I'll play outside back sometimes. So it really depends. But yes, I do play the same position most of the time.
What is 1 or 2 recommendations for those wanting to follow in your footsteps?
That's a great question. I would say the 2 main things that people need to do if they want to follow my footsteps or just achieve the most they can in life is, as you know, I'm always on time. You can ask Ms. Jarvis about that. I got here 20 minutes early. I think being on time is one of, I'm going to say my non-negotiables, right? That's one of the things that I believe almost is one of the most critical values is being on time, being prepared, being ready, right? Being ready is very important, whether it's for a test, whether it's in a game, practice. You want to always be ready. And the other thing I think is don't be afraid to fail. That's going to sound weird, right? Everybody, there's this big notion about failure and not always being a bad thing. We need to accept that at points in life we are going to fail. It's what can we learn from those things so we don't make those mistakes again. I'd say those 2 things helped me get to that next level because I make mistakes on the field. I'm not perfect, right? I mean, we're all not perfect in this world. It's making sure we learn from those mistakes in which we make. That's what gets us to that next level.
What is one word to describe your Sycamore experience?
The word I'd say is amazing, to answer your question, but it was just a great experience overall, welcoming. I'd say Sycamore is a giant, one big family, whether it be the elementary schools, the junior high, or the high school, or in Green, I skipped them, sorry. But it's just one big family, and you really feel that, and it's a great feeling.
Did you play college soccer?
I did. So my college soccer experience, it's unique. I actually played at 3 different schools, if you can believe that. So I started at Northern Michigan, up in the UP, up in Marquette, Michigan. I played a semester there. Amazing campus, great guys in the team. The coach, we didn't necessarily see eye to eye with some things, so I decided to transfer to Florida Southern. And while at Florida Southern, I was there for that spring, so I was at Northern in the fall, went to Florida Southern in the spring. The coach ended up leaving, a new coach came in, wanted all new guys, so I left, and I went to Saginaw Valley, Michigan. I went there for a year and a half. I played there. Again, amazing guys. I had amazing roommates there. I had a roommate from Canada, from Brazil, Australia, and then myself. So it was a real international experience. We had guys from all over, England, Scotland, Michigan, and then Colorado kid. It was a great experience, but I would say college is very important. And I'd also say that don't put the pressure of creating the perfect experience. Let things happen, right? Sometimes I think in my head I went, oh, I want to have the perfect game. I want to have the perfect college experience. You're never going to have that, right? There's going to be ups and downs, right? Like I said earlier. So it's really just letting it happen and experiencing it and making the best out of every situation that's given to you. And in a way that happened with me with this chance to go to Australia and sign professionally is I did all these things, all these crazy experiences happened at 3 different schools, but it all worked out in the end. So don't fret about the little things, enjoy it, know there's a bigger path.
How much money did you spend on all those trips between colleges?
Oh, that's a good question.
That's too personal.
You'd have to ask my parents on that one. They'd say too much. But
How much college debt? That's
again,
Experiences are invaluable.
that's true. I'd also say I've been blessed with some scholarships in there along the way, both academically and soccer-wise. And I'd say another thing that my dad always focused on when I was younger is making sure that I balanced out the studies and the soccer, right? I might have, when I got home, wanted to go play soccer right away, but I also knew homework needed to get done. So the first thing my dad always did was I did my homework first. So it was always homework first, then I can play soccer. We had practice at 6 o'clock or 5:30 or whatever it may have been. I always did my homework, got off at school at I think 2:30 or 3 when I was younger. I always did that homework from that time until practice to set that foundation of I need to treat my schooling just as seriously as my soccer. And I think that's created that good balance of being driven on the field, but also knowing soccer players and professional soccer players are allowed to have a life off the field and allowed to have that venture as well. I mean, one of my favorite players, Tyrone Mings, he plays for Aston Villa. He's their captain some of the time. It depends who else is playing. But he was talking, I was reading an article about him the other day, and he was saying too many times athletes in general are told, stay in your lane, right? Just play your sport and shut up. He's a guy who likes to do other things. I mean, he was a real estate broker and playing football and playing soccer, I call it football, part-time until he got his big break. And he still does his other side job because it kind of takes him away from that element. It takes him away from the pressure situation of playing professionally, and it kind of has that balance. It provides him with an outlet. And I think having that outlet, whether it be just going out for walks with your family or going and playing tennis or just playing video games, right? We all need a break, but it's finding that outlet so then when we go back to the thing we need to do, we're that much sharper and we're that much better.
So your dad works at the junior high. Can you give us one good story about him?
Oh, just one? There's so many stories with that guy, and I'm sure you guys will each have your own individual story once you leave here with him as well. Again, without him, obviously I wouldn't be here. He's really pushed me in soccer. Although my mom will say she gave me all my talent, but we'll debate that, I guess. I'd say one good story about my dad. I would say when we went to, it's actually coming down to Cincinnati, when we used to live in Minnesota. So we came down to visit my grandparents, who they used to live over by St. X High School. But there was actually a game up in Columbus, and we got to go watch Paris Saint-Germain versus Real Madrid at Ohio State, and it was just a good experience overall. I think that's more like a bonding story, but I'd say just a a good funny story is I like to give them a lot of crap. I'm sure most kids like to give their parents a little bit of crap, ruffle his feathers a little bit. Don't recommend you do that, but I can get away with it. I'd say I get to play with them. Like we'll go train all the time. You might see us out here training after school sometimes, and it's just like pinging a ball at them when just give them it's just a great time. Like again, there's not just one story that's popping in my head because I have so many memories and experiences with him that it's so hard to condense it into one. But I really appreciate everything he's done, and I love spending time with my dad playing soccer. It's kind of our bonding time. I grew up doing that with him. I think that's why we have such a close connection. And I truly think whether you're his kid or not, he will always be there to help you, no matter what. And I see it when he taught in Minnesota, or when he teaches here, right? If a kid truly needs help, he'll help them. Whether it be through, helping them understand the homework or helping them in their personal life, he's always there. So again, I'm going to say this right now, if you ever need something, he'll be there no matter what. As long as you're a respectful person and a good kid, he'll be there to help you. And I think that's something that he taught me, is to always be there for others and always help others.
How long were you in Australia for? Oh, yes.
How long? I played in Australia. I signed an amateur contract initially because I wanted to come back and play another year of college. Then I'm supposed to go back down there now. I can't get down there because of COVID. I've had both my shots, but I can't get down there because their borders are still closed. I might have to go quarantine in Singapore for 7 to 14 days, and then fly into Australia. It's all up in the air right now. I'm just taking life one day at a time, checking the news every day, talking with the club multiple times a week. It is what it is right now, and I'm just training, going to the gym, and getting better every day. I can't wait to get back to normal life. It'll be weird for me, because we've all grown accustomed to wearing masks, and down there's 10,000 people at a game with no mask on. And you're but then again, there's no community spread, so it'll just be weird for me when I get back there, but it's definitely something I look forward to.
Have they said that you have to wear a mask to play down there?
No, there's no masks, there's no nothing down there at all.
Okay.
The moment they have one case, they kind of get a little edgy, but there was actually a point over Christmas where they had to kind of lock back down, and their lockdown is well, we're locking down because there's 5 cases. Ooh, easy, but we have however many in Ohio, but the Australian people, I'll say this about the Australian people and Australian food. The people are very interesting people. At first, they're going to be a bit standoffish. They're going to be what's this guy doing? After that, they're the most welcoming people, some of the most welcoming people you ever meet. They do swear a bit. That's just part of their culture. There'll be kids your age in school just swearing. Again, I don't do that. I don't think you guys should at all. But it's definitely part of their culture. It's a bit different. The food, amazing. They have amazing. I like coffee. There's some amazing coffee places down there. Australia is really a melting pot of all these different people from all over. There's the Italians. There's Lebanese, Macedonians, and when you play soccer, you really see that, because there's a lot of clubs who are this is a majority of just a bunch of Macedonian guys, or you got all these different ethnicities all over, and all these different clubs and how they started, and it's really crazy. You go to the ground and you smell they're making the traditional food at these places and these stadiums, and you're wow, this is cool. You don't see that in the U.S. In the U.S. we have burgers and fries, or burgers and hot dogs and whatever.
Over there they have emu.
Yeah, they have everything. There's some Macedonian sandwich that you get, and you see it, and you're wow, that looks good. I gotta play, but I want one of those after. That looks really good. But yeah, it's really great meeting all these different people. So I haven't gone surfing yet either. For anybody who wants to know, I'm not a surfer.
Not with the great white surf.
Not a surfer. I don't like to test fate, but. I know quite a few guys on my team who do go surfing. They'll go in the mornings, and yeah, it's great. The beaches there are lovely. The cafe, there's one cafe that just overlooks the beach, and you're just having a coffee and a little avocado toast, and it's just it's amazing. I miss it. I'm hungry just thinking about it.
Thank you, Alex Galbraith, for taking the time to do an interview with us.